Recording in progress.
Hey, fans of the Monday Movie Club. This week, some of us revert to our childhoods. I can't read my own English. With The Karate Kid, which was selected by Mark and opened 39 years ago this very week.
You're not telling people what's going on here, that we're all actually in the same place.
Yes, for the first time, second
time.
time in 9 months.
Wait, wasn't it 38? Didn't it open in 84?
Yeah, that's true.
That's 84 years ago.
You're the math guy. Why didn't you?
I didn't even pick up on
We
that.
are actually sitting in Joel's kitchen. There's Joel,
Hi, guys.
me, Mark, Annie, and our audience.
Woo!
We have fans. And joining us via
Oh,
satellite.
that's a bad freeze.
It's satellite.
Joining us via satellite, Amy Goldman. We're wearing our shirts from September.
I'm
Some of us are.
Some of us are. All right, I'm Frank Gaffney. So did I introduce everybody?
No.
Joel,
Now I can look this close.
Mark Woltitz, partner, Annie King, and Amy. So Mark, I feel I don't even have to ask this question, but why'd you make us watch this movie?
Yeah, it's a very personal movie for me. In 1984, I got bullied, not by a gang, but by a kid 4 years older than me. I was a third grader, he was a seventh grader. And he kicked my ass on the way home, and I told my mom, and she talked to the other moms, and she found a local martial arts school. And I walked into that school May 4th, 1984. This movie came out 6 weeks later. And that summer, I was called the Karate Kid. People still call me the Karate Kid to this day.
So basically, you're Ralph Macchio.
Well, I'm not.
So
Ralph
you also
Macchio,
pay
though.
royalties to DC for that?
DC?
There's the Karate Kid.
There's a Karate Kid in the DC universe. They had to actually get permission and pay a few
Sure.
royalties. So
They somehow stick me on that.
yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I
Mark's used to. Okay. Okay, but most film freaks would pick 1939 as the year that Hollywood put out the most excellent product, but you say it's 1984.
I do. For me, it's 1984. This also had, you put me on the spot here, but the Terminator, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Splash, Goonies, not Goonies, Gremlins, Ghostbusters. Thank you, Ghostbusters. A lot of good stuff, and a whole bunch more that I can't think of right
Star
now.
Trek 3.
Star Trek.
Star Trek 3. Yeah. Well, then you could jump to 1989, where you had the next Indiana Jones, License to Kill, Lethal Weapon 2, Star Trek 5, because everybody knew that one. Ghostbusters 2, because everyone loved that one too.
Okay, so here are my nits to pick. First of all, leaving New Jersey, that's not even them in those shots. It's so kind of so far away, it's all second unit.
So why is that a
You
nitpick?
never
Why is
see-
that a nitpick?
Because it's like
But
20 minutes long.
Because movies do that all the time.
But you never see them in the car until they're on the road. They're probably in
It's a wide shot.
Ensenada. Reseda.
Encino.
Okay, so then they get to California,
Start naming places.
and Ralph Macchio is greeted by the friendliest kid in the world.
Yes.
Yes.
He meets him at the gate. I mean, that's a little borderline creepy.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Do we ever see that kid again?
No, and that's what I was gonna bring up. He shows up at the end at the tournament out of nowhere.
Yeah. I'm like, did they cut an entire subplot? Because like, you make a friend like that,
Well,
you be friends for like,
no, but that's my one part that I don't like of the movie is that when he gets his ass kicked on the beach by Johnny, everyone makes fun of him, including this kid Fred, and he
Right.
basically leaves him. They all leave him just for no reason because they all would have gotten their ass kicked by the same.
That's one of my notes.
Yeah,
And then all of a sudden, so he disappears for the entire movie. They're no longer friends, but there he is at the very end cheering him on. That is definitely in it.
And so Pat Morita got an Oscar nomination. It really is a lovely performance. It is. But seriously, his accent is right up there with Mickey Rooney, Breakfast at Tiffany. It's so racist. Come on. He doesn't talk like that.
He doesn't, but I was reading, he based it on like his grandfather or his uncle, the accent. So
People of every
Ethnicity.
have done something like that too. People Hispanic put on Hispanic accents, Jews put on Jewish accents. I mean, this has happened a million times.
How do you think Japanese people talk? I mean, I remember Annie being at her house, and she had said that her father had a heavy Chinese accent. And I was like, really? I hadn't noticed. And then I noticed, and he had a very heavy accent, just like Pat Morita, different. But that's how, they talk.
It just seems so stilted and. Okay,
It
I thought it was
is-
beautiful.
So, I'm older than my brother by about 5 years, and my brother, when we came to the United States, he was 6 months old. So you would think he grew up
Mhm.
speaking English pretty much. He has such a heavier accent than I do.
He does. He
Wow.
does. Yeah.
Say that, but I don't notice any.
I don't have an accent
Yeah,
at
I
all.
I thought you were
You have a
born
New York accent.
Yeah.
you know,
I
I
don't have
didn't, I
at
didn't
all.
realize you weren't born.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
so but my brother, who was 6 months old when we came, he
Right.
has an accent.
Wow.
Yeah, it's definitely nature versus nurture because my sister Marie definitely from Long Island. Okay, so okay, there's every possible 1980s cliche in this movie, and
But were they cliches in 1980?
I'm sure they were. And poor Ralphie Macchio is the underdog here. So he comes home with black eyes, and his mother does nothing about it. Anthony's mother would have gone to the school and kicked Johnny's ass. She would have. And then they push him off the hill with his bicycle, like attempted murder. But no, they were teaching him how to fail. Kind of like Mr. Miyagi does. And
Miyagi.
when I say
Miyagi.
Yachi.
He's correcting them throughout the whole movie on that.
and and then there's that big training sequence.
Yes.
And when it comes to training sequence, John Advil Zen created one of the most famous ones because he did
Yeah.
it 8 years before this. This one goes on much longer than the Rocky one, but he also got Bill Conti to do the score.
Yeah.
And it doesn't quite measure up to the Rocky score, but it is a rousing score.
Mhm.
And so this was weird. Miyagi?
Yes.
Okay. Words of advice. Young bee need young flower, not old prune. Is he saying I'm not gay? Don't. What is he saying?
He's saying you should hang out with young women, not old men.
Because you're not gay? Why would he hang out with old man?
To
Okay.
pollinate a flower.
And
Do we need to do the birds and the bees?
Yes. So
Why are you equating a prune to a man?
What?
Why are you equating a prune to a man? It's just an old, young versus old.
Young bee need young flower to pollinate. You can't pollinate an old prune.
Right.
Because you're
Yeah,
saying
like
you're
an old lady.
Yeah. So don't try to pollinate me. I'm not gay. And of course, Pat Morita does none of the fights. Right?
He
Well, you
did
could,
one.
you could see him clearly in a few of
And
them.
when
He
he does the
can't move
crane
well.
thing,
Yeah.
that's not him. And with all his
William
voice,
Shatner stumped up.
and with all of his advice, he's like a discount builder. He has like all these little. And Kreese, what's his name? Martinson.
Martin Cove.
He's seriously a psychopath teaching those children.
By the way, I went back and rewatched Rambo 2 not that long ago. No sleeves in that one either. Martin Cove has never worn sleeves in his
Never
life,
worn
apparently.
sleeves.
He must read into his contract. No sleeves in my outfits.
Okay, and then we finally get to the match. I heard someone, I don't remember, say, when are you creeps gonna grow up? And if you've seen any of the Netflix show Cobra Kai, you know the answer is no, never. That's the answer. And I totally get why Mark loves this movie. Explain why. But and it seems like this group is picking a lot of nostalgia movies. But for me, by 1984, I was 26 years old, and this was a kids' movie. This was not for me. And I thought that then, and it was even worse this time. Good Lord. And the karate is not even that great. The Bruce Lee movie had better karate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I mean, except for that kick in the face, which was great.
It was more the
What's that
philosophy,
called?
the teaching, the crane technique.
The kick was
The
a
crane.
crane.
Yeah.
The Denny Crane.
Denny Crane. William Shatner doing that. That was fun, but other than that, it was not great karate. So I'm gonna have to say 2.5 stars. Sorry. Audible gas from the Queens.
Wow.
It was hard getting through it for me. Joel.
Oh, I get to go next? Yay. Yeah, it's a good movie. I enjoy it. I haven't seen it in over a decade at this point. I have not watched Cobra Kai. I think I've seen the sequel, the Karate Kid 2 once. I think I saw the other two movies once each.
I
but-
actually started to watch Cobra Kai because this one, like, oh, it's great. It's not.
No, if you hate the movie, you hate all things
I didn't
80s,
hate
you
it.
won't,
I
you
didn't.
won't like Cobra Kai.
Okay, I didn't hate the movie. It was 2.5 stars. It's like, yeah, it's fine.
And actually, watching the movie this time actually made me, I want to watch Cobra Kai. I want to see where
It really is a
this is
going.
continuation. It's a
Yeah.
continuation of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you should rewatch Karate Kid 2 and then go into.
Okay, I'll do that at some point when the show's over. I have a little more time to do things.
Sure.
But generally speaking, it's an entertaining film. It's enjoyable. Yes, looking back on it, there's a lot of cliches. And some of them may have been cliches back then, and some of them may not have been. It's the 80s. We get those montages of training, of romances, of everything, and at this point, it's kind of like enough's enough. And we've seen Matt Parker and Trey Stone make Matt Stone and Trey Parker
Yes, yes.
make a lot of fun of those things in their works. But
And rightly so.
but it's still an engaging story. It is very Rocky reminiscent at times.
Wait, I want to say something. The thing that really elevated the movie, just the one scene, was when Miyagi came drunk, and we heard the whole backstory about his father and all that,
Right.
and that really was very nice.
And then that, if I remember correctly, that plays into the second film because don't they go to Okinawa?
They do.
Yeah.
Or do they?
And that was about his wife and that was his wife and son. It wasn't about his father.
Oh, right.
Yeah. He was the
I
father.
meant like, but he didn't get to share. He didn't get to share the stuff his father taught him with his son because he didn't have a son.
Right.
Because his son died.
Yes.
Right. So you're sharing it with Daniel.
Right.
Yes.
Who's his son?
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Daniel's son.
Daniel's son. Anyway, I enjoyed watching it again. And I don't really have much else to say about that. I'd give it 3 stars. It's a solid 3-star movie. If I'm in a good mood, it might be a 3.25 star. Joel, 3 stars.
Before you even.
Wow. Thanks, Preston.
Hi, Dan.
So in 1984, I was a senior in high school, just having graduated actually. And and I had just taken a year of karate class in school,
cute.
actually. So when he started to like wax
Sand
the
the
car, and I was like, oh, I know exactly where this is going, right?
I had no idea.
Yeah, but then when you realize it, it's like, oh my God, look, he was like training him all this
Doesn't
time.
he do that in Cobra Kai? Ralph Macchio makes
He
the kid do it.
yeah, he
It's the
does.
same thing.
But again, in 1984, this hadn't really been done. So when you're watching it for the first time on screen, and then see it all come together, like
Yeah.
you're saying, that
Yeah.
was probably
Oh
pretty
no,
good for the
I
audience,
had no idea where that was gonna go.
even now.
But the stupid kids in Cobra Kai should have known.
They should have watched.
They should have watched the movie.
Yes.
For at least one of the sequels.
Yeah, and I feel like all those movies of that genre, of that age, that I went to a lot of movies when I was in high school and stuff, that I really enjoyed them. So, I remember this one with fondness and everything, and I liked it a lot, even with all the cliches and stuff. I did say watching it, like, oh, that's such a 1980s beginning with
Right.
the whole traveling, the
Right.
whole widescreen shot and stuff. But I enjoyed the whole thing, I think it's great that he got all his cars washed, his fence painted, his house painted,
His
and
back deck sanded.
yeah.
I gotta teach my kids karate.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, so for me, it's 3.5 stars. 'Cause I enjoyed it. It's fun to look back on. Yeah, and it's definitely like the good guy wins
Yes.
kind of story.
Yeah,
I
I
have
see
to say, one of the
learned his
things that always bothers me, and I think it's a John G. Avildsen film thing, because you see it at the end of Rocky, and it's been a while since I've seen Rocky 5, but I think it's there too. The movie doesn't so much end as it stops.
Stops.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know, it's like,
like,
I
man,
won.
Yes, and everyone's cheering.
And then that's the end of the movie. It's like, there's no like,
There was another scene and they just didn't do it.
so from what I understand, there was another scene that was in the script.
Yeah.
And didn't shoot it for this movie, they shot it for the sequel.
Oh,
And that's what opens the sequel, but I haven't seen the sequel in,
Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense, because they were,
years.
it is.
It
it's-
takes place, like,
takes
right
place
after.
like right after when they're in the parking lot.
and then the sequel moves on like a year later
It's a
and
year
ignores
later.
all that, so.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
You're
Yeah,
like, well, we had
like,
this scene, we might as well use
And
it.
in every movie, he gets how to fight, and that's to
Right.
relearn how to fight.
But I also think John G. Avildsen didn't do
Yeah,
much
sure.
else beyond the Karate Kid movies and Rocky, the 2 Rocky movies he did.
It's enough for me.
Did he win an Oscar?
For Rocky.
Rocky.
And
Well,
not for directing,
no,
for,
that was screenplay, that's Stallone one.
was it by himself? I think he wrote it with Avildsen. I don't remember.
It's
this.
a
He
Stallone,
wrote the
isn't it?
story, I know.
All right.
We'll move on,
Right.
yeah.
And what do you think?
You done?
This
Yeah.
last today?
What?
When did you watch it?
When did I watch it?
1984?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like Annie, I remember this movie. I had just turned 18 and I remember it being a huge movie, especially for people our age. It was just a movie everybody talked about. And for years we were going wax on, wax off. This was just a constant thing to do randomly. It was a huge, huge movie. I remember loving it. I took a few notes.
Mark is
First-
still doing wax on wax.
What?
Well, mostly
Yeah.
one and then the other. So.
Oh, wait. Before you start, I just have one nit to pick. I was like, he looks all of like 13 in this movie, not like a high school
And he's so
senior.
strong.
Ah,
He's 4 years
Yeah.
older than William Zapka, who played John.
Yeah, and
He's
he
so
just, but he
smart.
just looked, I was like, I didn't look like that when I was a senior in high school.
I was
And
reading,
amazingly, he was 22.
I was reading up on one of the sequels as well when I was, and I don't remember which one, but apparently the actress that's playing his love interest,
Yes,
what is
third one.
like the third one was like 12 or 13 at the time, and he was like 30, and they had to change things around.
Go up a little bit. It was like, she was 17, he was like 37,
Yeah,
and he
okay.
actually said, I don't want to get
Yeah.
romantic. Yeah,
Wow.
even though they look like they're only 2 years apart.
Yeah, he was very scrawny looking. And that New Jersey accent, good lord. That has to be real, right?
I would
I
assume.
think he's from this area.
Well, remember, he was in, what's it called?
Yeah,
The Outsiders, as he was Johnny then.
Yeah.
He was 22 in there playing like a 15-year-old,
yeah,
and he was supposed to be a young-looking 15-year-old.
right. and he was
And
apparently.
he pulled it off. Yeah,
And now he looks every bit of it.
still looks much younger than he is.
Continue, Amy.
Okay. So the notes I wrote, I said, how sad that all of those boys were willing to be his best friend after one day. Then Johnny shows up on the beach, Daniel defends Allie, and they're mad at the neighbor for friending him in the first place.
Yeah.
That was sad. But you kind of alluded to that. This sentence, I don't understand what it means. I wrote the conversation he finished with himself in the restaurant after his mother walked away was absolutely adorable.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
What was that?
So,
She
He
doesn't
kept-
remember
he
the
kept-
conversation.
He kept talking about, he was telling her about Allie, and then she had to go to work. And he kept saying, oh yeah, she's amazing. She's fantastic. And,
Ah.
With Elizabeth Shue.
yeah, I'd be saying the same
Yeah.
thing.
I had a
Well,
crush on her
sure.
back then.
Sure.
That
Well, speaking of her, Elizabeth Shue, Pat Morita, and Ralph Macchio were so impressively good in this movie. I mean, Pat Morita absolutely deserved the Oscar nomination, but both of the young ones, they were so good. It was wonderful to see them acting, but Pat Morita was just brilliant. And like you all alluded to before as well, I don't remember. I wish I could remember the audience, including my reaction when we realized what the wax on, wax off, paint up and down, what it meant. I'm sure there was a huge reaction because it was brilliant.
and the movie,
The knit, I need to pick the two. I wrote, huh? Somebody talking?
pretty funny too.
What?
Pat Marie's trying to catch and he catches it on the first one.
Very cute, very, and that was also a big fun thing I remember after that people were talking about. The only two nits I have where I wrote the bad guys were so one-dimensional and over the top nasty. They were just caricatures, every one of them. I hated them. there was no redeeming quality except at the very end with Johnny and the sweep the leg. He's like, whoa, come on, dude.
Bobby, the one guy who did.
Bobby, yeah, Bobby Brown.
Yeah, and they all show up on Cobra Kai, by the way, in an episode. The real actors.
I'm gonna have to watch it. And I hear they're all great friends in real life, which of course I
Yeah,
love.
but all of the Cobra Kai's, his buddies from back then.
That's great.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I wrote was it was a good 15 minutes too long at this point, really. But I loved it so much as a kid. So I have to nostalgically go with
3.5.
2 stars.
2 stars. I'm back and forth here. I'll go with the 3.5. All right.
Right.
Just because I saw it so many times and loved it so much back then. I just wish I liked it. I just wish it was a little move it along. It didn't have to be a 2.25 hour movie.
You know, it's funny, when I sat down to watch it, as I had scheduled in, like, oh, this will take, it's less than 2 hours, I'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah,
As I'm sitting down watching it, I was going, this is more than 2 hours. This is-
yeah. I was shocked.
And it's only by 7 minutes, but I was, there are points in the film where it just kind of like, you know, I don't know. where-
Yeah.
It lingers, yeah.
Yeah, it lingers a
Yeah, we could have gotten rid of that whole 7-minute opening sequence.
See, but that didn't bother me at all, the opening.
They could have just started like, you know, hey, we're moving in, we're new people, and it would have been fine. So
You need the titles to run it.
run run it over that. Or put them at the end like everybody else does at this point.
Yeah.
Right, Marky Marcus.
Okay. Yeah, to build on what I said. There you go. To build on what I was saying earlier, you know, I relate to a lot of it. The bullying, to Daniel, because I'm also annoying and whiny sometimes. But also I feel me. But you know, he wound up being a fighter and not a quitter, and I feel like I got some of those qualities as well, and I attribute it to taking martial arts, and I have actually fought back against attackers and robbers, and I attribute that to the knowledge and training and making me tougher, just doing martial arts. So what else? I love the movie. I recognize that it's not perfect. Some of the nits that was said, I agree. There's some parts that are silly. Maybe it goes on a little bit too long. But I've seen the movie at least 40 times, I would say, over the years. I love it. It's in my collection. I have the whole box set of all 4. Yes, I'm the one. As Amy said, you know, I love the interaction between Miyagi and Daniel, and I feel like while it was a lot different, I had a similar, you know, I had a fantastic instructor in martial arts, and I've been with the same instructor for the entire 40 years. That
He wasn't a psychopath,
He was not a psychopath. He was an NYPD sergeant.
and still
and
not a
he's-
psychopath. No,
No, no.
Yeah.
And you know, like I took Taekwondo with him and then combat Aikido, and it's like, why leave a good instructor and go somewhere else? It's I struck gold on the first, you know, hit, so why go to silver, you know? That's it. The only thing I'll say is that I really appreciate the end of the movie, the tournament, because I did that. I went to those tournaments, and while the rules were a little bit different from when, like, there was no kicking to the face, that was not allowed. But the setup, all in these big gymnasiums and everything roped off and everything, you have to go find your station. This is Pee-wee green belts are over there, and young adult black belts are over here, and so forth. You have your section, right? Because you're not going to have white belts fighting against black belts, or 7-year-olds fighting against 20-year-olds.
The only disappointing part for me was they weren't in singlets.
Sniglets.
I don't even know.
Okay, a singlet. A singlet is what wrestlers, the one piece
Oh,
that
the one
wrestlers
piece.
do. A sniglet is a definition for a made-up word that Rich Hall created on SNL.
Sniglet?
Okay.
Singlet.
Yes. That's it. 3.75 for me.
Wow.
I didn't even go that high with Flash Gordon.
This movie's better than Flash Gordon.
Is it though?
The acting is a touch better.
Yes. I mean, like I said, that scene where he was drunk was just, it was really touching.
Yeah.
Okay. Any last minute comments? Peanut Gallery, Lewis?
And I do love that one sentence, there are no bad students, only bad teachers.
Yep.
I thought that was a great
It's-
line.
Well, being a teacher, you can relate to
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although admittedly, there are exceptions to every rule.
Well, there are asshole students.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I think I saw somewhere, it was this, and this is my credo, if you will, is that I can't make you a good actor, but I can make you a better actor. So that's this kind of thing too.
Yeah.
It's like, you have to have some of it innately.
And like every good movie from the 80s, this is now a musical. This-
Yeah.
Playing in Atlanta, Chicago, I don't know, somewhere. It's already up and running, so.
Princess
come-
Bride next.
Coming to Broadway.
You have to go
Right.
take a trip to Chicago.
Hmm.
And Try to get a musical. Joel, you want to sing a song from
No, no. If you want to hear a song from SpongeBob, come see SpongeBob from Fairfield Center
Is
Stage
this the
up at.
last weekend?
No, we just opened yesterday.
Oh, 2 weeks.
We had 2 weekends, so 2 performances today. Well, this is a Monday, so there's no performances on Mondays.
Yeah, why would you open on a Sunday?
Right? Yeah, we're still doing that. We have 3 more performances next week because this will be published on Monday. So Friday night at 7, Saturday at 2 and 7. Sorry, Friday night at 7:30. Sunday, Saturday. I'm
Are you
tired.
getting a portion of the proceeds?
I
of the
get nothing.
tickets?
Nope, I get buckus.
What do you care?
I
Alright.
want people to see this show because
Yeah,
this cast
of
has worked very hard.
course. We're going today. All right. That's it. Aim, thanks for joining us.
Yes.
I'm so sorry I'm not there.
All right. Next Monday, we'll be watching the Grand Budapest Hotel, which was my choice.
Why did you choose that?
Because it's the next one I have to watch for the Frankenstein.
Okay.
So we're not watching The Cheap Detective?
No.
Okay.
It's a new list.
I thought I printed the new list.
No, that's not.
Okay.
The Grand Budapest Hotel. I love this movie. It's available on HBO Max,
Oh, good.
so you can watch it there.
No library. Good.
Yeah.
And that's
Just
it.
keep
I'm
renting.
Frank Gaffney. Go watch a movie.
A karate.
Wait, no, also with you?
A karate with you.